Good afternoon, good morning, everybody, and welcome to the FieldWorker webinar. Very happy to have you here. I am Rohit Mathur, co-founder of FieldWorker, along with Sunny Nair, who leads our customer success team. And we are our account executive Ann Murtha is supposed to be on this webinar as well, but we've had storms in our area, so we are not sure, and she lost some power. So we are not sure if she'll be able to make it, but we are here and happy to have everybody joining as well. People are continuing to join, so we'll just give it like a few seconds before we roll into it. But happy Friday, people have registered from all over the country. We are in Princeton, New Jersey, and have a beautiful day. So hopefully wherever you are, you have a beautiful day as well. We'd like to keep this webinar as informal as possible. So please feel free to ask any questions whenever you want to. So there is a Q&A window, there is a chat window, and we'll be monitoring it. So just type in your questions in there, and we are happy to take them as they come along. If there is anything specific to your agency that you don't want to share in a public forum, you can just, drop us an email, and we are happy to set up some time after the webinar and talk to you about that as well. That is no problem at all. And I'll type in Sunny and mine, and Shravan, who's from the customer success team, has joined as well, his email on the chat as well, so you will have that. Now the audience we have registered today is many types of organizations. We got case management agencies, we got daycare agencies, day habilitations, we've got some centers for independent living, even some healthy start organizations, which is, I'm very happy to see them here as well, and various types of service provider, care coordination and support coordination organizations. So it represents a vast spectrum, a complete spectrum of the type of agencies we serve, and the type of organizations which are using field workers. So I'm very happy to have you all here as well. And we hope to address, field worker is a general purpose solution which can be configured and customized to your needs, to your organization's needs. So today, Sunny is going to take us through some of the main areas, right? And how you can best utilize field worker in those areas. But we there are clients of all these different organizations, different types of organizations that I mentioned, who are using FieldWorker, and we have configured it for their specific needs and given them their specific workflows and paths, which make their life very efficient. So again, if we don't address your specific need here, then feel free to drop us an email, and we are happy to get on a quick call with you and show you specifically how you can benefit, or your organization or your day-to-day can benefit from using FieldWorker, right? And Sunny is going to take it's a there's so many parts to the product, and we are going to do a summary here today. But hopefully you can benefit from what you see. From an agency owner's perspective, if you are management or agency owner, then we are going to show you some areas in which you can simplify the workflow for yourself, reporting, billing and claim submission, or reporting for grants or your funders. But also we are going to show you how your employees can benefit. Overall, the whole objective of this exercise is to show you how you can centralize your information, improve your day-to-day, and make it easier, whether you are in the field working with clients directly, whether you're a supervisor, manager, or an agency owner. Again, feel free to ask questions throughout. And again, we are happy to help you and answer those questions. We'll take them through the session or at the end of the session. Either way is fine. I'll also show up a couple of polls while we are going through this demonstration. And if you can answer those questions, they'll be very valuable for us to gear the webinar towards your specific needs, as well as help us from the product perspective. So I appreciate that. I would appreciate that very much. I'm not going to take any more time. I want to give most time to Sunny so that he can take you through the product, and also to you to ask whatever questions you would like to ask. So over to you, Sunny, and you can share your screen as well I am going to stop sharing very quickly as well so that you can then start sharing.
Yeah, yes. Thank you. Thank you so much, Rohit. And good evening, everybody. I'm Sunny from FieldWorker, and I'll be walking you through the system today. I'm just going to go ahead and share my screen once, and we can then start. Great. So this is the FieldWorker homepage. What you're currently seeing on your screen right now is the FieldWorker homepage. As Rohit mentioned, the system is pretty configurable, right? We have a lot of different types of agencies that are operating through the system. And the demo today is going to be a more generalized version of what the system can do. We then have a more detailed onboarding process where we try to understand, every business is different. We try to understand the business that you are in and the requirements that you would need from the system, and then configure the system according to your needs, right? So this is the home screen. I'm now going to go into the clients tab, and this is the main tab where you would be handling all your client data, right? As a start, we never delete information. We want to be you want to be audit ready the minute you start using FieldWorker. So all our information is either going in from an active to an inactive state or an ongoing to a completed state. So anything that you do on the system is never lost. You always have that information, right here you have active and then you have inactive clients. So anybody who has left your agency, whenever they come back, if they come back, you can always get their own plan active and start using it, so you never lose any history or data that you've had with the client. Right now, coming into the client record, right here, you will see we have a lot of demographic information, and there are many more demographic fields that we can store for the client. So this is just some of the required information that we have, and then we have a lot more fields that you can store data for. Not all of this is required. The client can be created based with minimum data, especially case management agencies. It's very basic demographic information that we use in order to create the client record, but you can even store any of this data that you would like right here. So a lot of client demographic on the home page or the overview page. And then we give you the 5 recent notes. So, it's a good story. The 5 recent notes that were added in, either, by you or your employees, they would show up on the client record here, and you can view them directly through the overview page. Now, we have different designations on the system, and that's how we maintain the way a person has access. So anybody with an admin designation like this would have access to all their clients, whereas anybody with a field worker designation, that is our default designation that we give to employees, they would only have access to the clients that they're assigned to. So as an admin, you have access to everybody, but as a field worker, you're only seeing the clients who you're supposed to be working with. Now, this is something that the admin can do on their end. You can move employees around. Sometimes you have employees who are out on vacation. You can always add other employees, give them access, and the work can be done by the others. Great. Now, coming in, we have the overview. We then have the projects. Now, as I said, information, we never delete information. So it's either going from an ongoing to a completed state. And you can have multiple projects, right? Now, the advantage of having projects is you can break down the rest of the information, your task, your notes, your documents. You can break this down into different services that have been approved for the client. So you can either have a single project where you have all of the information, or you can have multiple projects for a single client. So that's with the projects. Now, coming into a task is typically a service that has been provided to your client by your employee or by you, right? You have either ongoing tasks, because this you can set up tasks for the next, as long as you would like. You can set up recurring tasks which show up on your screen whenever they're scheduled for. So you can do it a year ahead, 2 years ahead. And you also then have the completed tasks, which is basically information of what was completed for the client. So right here, you will see we store a lot of information. We have the schedule time. We also have a check-in, check-out process. That's one process that some of our agencies use us for as well, where we capture what the schedule was supposed to be and what was the actual time that your employee spent, right? So based on a check-in, check-out using our mobile app, we can gather this information right here. Now, if I click on any, you will see we stored a lot of more information on who the employee was, what was the location, how long the visit was, and you can also collect a signature if you need from your employees. Now, this can be done through the mobile app after they check in and check out, and you can store this on the record as well. So this is just a signature that was collected during one of the tasks. So you have a lot of information about what was completed for the client. We also save the type of task. Now, this is something that you can configure the list or the different ways in which you have visits completed. Either you can have home visits, phone calls, even if it's a part of a service, whether it's community based, different activities that you are doing. I have some certain case management agencies who like to break down this information, based off different categories that they're doing during the day. So you can have different task types that are also set up on the system. Now, moving ahead, we have the People's tab, and this is going to be available for every client. You have the different employees who would be working with the client. So right here, you will see my name as an admin, and then we have Rami, who's a field worker, and you can associate any other employee from your current, right here, from your company to this client. Now, when I associate Ruth, you will see that he has access to Abigail now and can go ahead and complete time, add notes, all of that other information as well. What we also store for a client is customer contacts or client contacts. Typically, family information, doctor information, emergency contacts. You can store the name, the number, as well as the address for this right here. And you can even associate multiple such contacts with the client. So for example, if I want someone to be present here now, you will see it gets added in with the type of relationship and the phone number and address. Now, all of this again configurable, the different types of relationships. There's a lot of configurations that are possible in the system, and you can configure this based on what your agency currently utilizes. So that's with the People tab, where you can assign employees and also contacts to a particular client. We then have the File section or the Document Center. This is where you can store documents, PDF documents, Word documents, waivers, different waivers that you collect from a client. If there is some paperwork that you have signed, you can take a picture through our mobile app. So we have a mobile app where you can take a picture and store it onto the client record, and it will be displayed on the laptop as well. So you can view the documents right here, or you can even download it to your local machine. We currently don't have a limit on the number of documents you can store. So, if there is any documents that you want to store for a client, you can store it right here. It's a very simple upload, and you can upload this either from your computer or you can even do it through the mobile phone. We then have the notes section, or the case notes as we call it. This is where you can store case notes for a client. Now, these are just some examples of different case notes that have been added in. In order to add a case note as an employee, you will only click the add a note option. You will then select the project. So right here is where you can bifurcate the different information, right? You can break down the information into which plan is it for. You can then either select a task if you want. If not, you can just add it up directly to the client record. You have the option to add a note title. Now, it's not required. If you need, you can do that. And you can then start typing in the note. For Abigail. What we also have is the voice to text. So for case management agencies, the voice to text feature is something that has helped immensely, save time while completing a note for a client. It basically is where I can click that and talk into the laptop, and it creates the note for me. So it's a very simple process of being able to add a note to the client record without actually having to type in all of this information. And our voice to text feature is also available on our mobile apps. So a lot of your case managers, can also go in on the mobile app, log in, and start typing in their notes right there when they're with the client, other than having to, keep out a day at the end of the month and then put in the notes for everything that they did. They can do it through our mobile app right there the day that the service was provided. When I hit create note, you will see that the note is now saved on the client record right here. Now, we're trying to be an audit system, so everything on the system is timestamped. You will see right here on the note, I have the time that the note was created, by whom, and then any updates made to a note will also be displayed right here. So, if there is any other employee who is coming in and making a change to this note, you will also be seeing this information on who it was created and updated by. So that's with the case notes. You also have the option of adding a voice note in. Now, this is not something that we transcribe, but it is just a voice note that can be stored as a voice note on the client record as well. So you have both options. You either have a case note or a voice note that can be stored for the client. Going forward, we then have the goals. So every client, would have certain goals that they would like to achieve while being in service with you. You can create these customer goals on the system and then track their progress. You can also associate them with certain task types to let the system know that whenever there is a task created with this task type, we are working towards this goal. And all of this information can then be reported on. So it's a good way of tracking the different goals that your client would like to achieve through the goal screen. You can create a new goal right here for a client based on a project as well. Now, moving forward, we then have the needs. So, any health needs that a client has, any support needs, or any employee needs that are present. You can add this in right here on the system. And any employee who has access to the client can also view this information. So it's always helpful to have this information displayed right here on the client record. And then finally, we have the form section, right? So the form section now is a list of every time there is a form that has been created for a client, it will be present right here. You as an admin or an employee can view the forms. You can view the different forms that have been created, or you can even edit it if required right here. And you will see the timestamp when was it done and who completed it last, right? When was the form last updated? So many ways in which you can view the form. You can either view the form by clicking the view and print the form, which is a PDF document or a Word document, or you can even edit it to enter or change the information that was entered in by your employees. Another advantage of the forms is that you have the customer goals. So as we add in the customer goals, you can view them right here while creating the forms. This typically helps a lot of employees, get a good reference of what has to be added in of the case note. We're trying to get data that is more relatable, right? Relatable to the service that is being provided, and hence giving them a reference through the goal helps them to chart or enter in the note in a better format. So you have the form section here, and these forms can be filled in by your employees. Now, while in order to add in forms on the system, we have a very robust way of adding in different forms that you can build on the system. So we have a very simple form builder where it's a drag and drop where you can create your forms. And we have a lot of different fields, right? You can have check boxes, select boxes, radio buttons, all of that information. You can have different ways of grids that can also be created in the forms. I have a few examples of the forms that could be present on the system. So you have the career assessment form. You also have the feedback form. If that is something that you would like to take. These are just some examples of ways in which other agencies are using our system today and the different forms that they have created through our system. So you can create as many forms as you like right here through the drag and drop. The onboarding team also works with you in order to create a few forms initially for you and train you through all of this, right? So you can create as many forms as you like and collect information in a certain format. Now, once the information has been collected, we also give you an additional option of creating a report or reporting on the data that you're collecting, right? That's the final step. Once you've collected all of this information, being able to display it or have this out in a report. So any form that you create, you can click and you can select the information. It will bring up the different fields that you've collected through the form, right? You can then create a specific report based on any of these columns. You can even hide or unhide any columns, right? So for example, if you want to hide, you don't want to see certain information, a lot of configurations possible, right? So you can have customer names, different employees, any information that you would like in the report, and you can then create a new report. Any of our reports are exportable as a CSV or a PDF. So for example, when you export this information, you can either get it in as a CSV or a PDF document with all of this right here.
Just to add to that, what Sunny said as well, we collect a lot of information for your client contact, as you saw. But the form functionality, let's say you have complex intake forms, or your organization or your state requires particular incident reporting. The form functionality gives you a very flexible way of creating specific forms that are very specific to your needs, your state's needs, your funders' needs that you can use to collect information, your referral needs or your intake needs that you can use over and above what we already provide in the system.
Yes.
I'm going to launch a quick poll as well. If you can answer, Sunny, you can continue going. This poll will be
Sure.
up 60 seconds. And there are 3 polls altogether through this session. So this is the first one that is coming up.
Yes.
Go
Perfect.
ahead.
Yes, perfect. Thank you, Rohit. So that's with the forms. We then have, other than the reporting that we provide to you on the data that you've created in the forms or that you're collecting in the forms, we also have a lot of generalized reporting that is present on the system. So for example, right here, these are just some of the reports that we have. The first one is our active customer report. It brings together all of the information about your clients, right? Every field that you are storing for the client record can be displayed right here. And any of our reports, you can change the columns. You can move around the column, and every employee can set up their own, right? So even if there are 2 employees in the same agency, you have different views. You can set it up according to your liking and then save the view so that every time I refresh or I come back to the screen, it's going to be the same exact view that I had saved it as. So you can set up the way you would like to view information. You can even export any of our information as a CSV or a PDF. We have the active customer report. We have the client status report. Basically lets you know when was the customer created, if a customer left your agency, what was the transfer out date. All of this information is present in this report. It gives you a good handle, right? It gives you a good handle on your agency to know where exactly are your clients. We then have the task report. So the task report basically takes into account all of the different time that has been added in for your clients. So based on a certain period, you can add in a certain period. And once you do a search, you will see you have a list of different tasks. When were they completed? Who was the employee? Who was the customer? And then the duration as well right here. Again, all our reports have filters. So in case you need to run a filter, you can do it on any of our columns. For example, I say customer first name, and I can run a filter if I want to get every record that was created for Adam. You will see it brings up the different records that were created for Adam in this period. So a lot of filtering is possible just to get the information that you need. You can even filter out based on task types. So that's the list of different activities that is being provided in your company. So, whether you want, okay, I want to now know on how many counseling sessions have I done. You can filter out based on this column so that you get a list of the different counseling sessions that were performed in your agency right here and who attended. So a lot of configurations in terms of filtering and getting the information that you need through the task report. We then have the time management report, again, something that brings together all of the information. Who was the employee? When did they work? And what was the time that they spent with the client? So all of that information is present here. For the company report, we also have a time and expense report. What this does is it puts together mileage. So if you'd like to collect mileage or any toll information that your employees are currently spending, you can do so in one of our forms. We have a TME form that is, it's a common form that is present across our system. Once used by your employees, we will get this information. You can put in a rate for the mileage that you pay out and also get that calculation right away. So the time and expense report is something that has helped a lot of agencies as well. We then have a case management report or a report of all of the notes that have been added in. So when you have grants that you need to apply for, what you need to provide is like a note or a life cycle that you're spending with the client. Using the case management reports, you can select a particular client who you're trying to get the information for. You can then select whether it's a yearly, quarterly, monthly report. I'm going to say it's a 2024. I want to know everything that was done in 2024 for Abigail. Now, when I click on view report, you will see that we export out a PDF document that looks something like this. It includes all of the different notes that were added in for that period, for the client, for Abigail. It also lets you know what was the amount, if there is a rate present, based on the number of hours that you spend. It also gives you an amount that you can then use, which is a dollar amount here. So this is just one of the reports that we had built out for case management agencies, taking into account the different information that they were collecting. And we also take in custom reports. So, if there is a certain report, the fact that we're collecting so much of information, if there is a report that you need, which contains some of the information, we can always provide those reports as well, right? So that's with the case management reports, and a lot of filtering is possible as well. So, whether it's a certain date period, a certain time period that you want it for, a certain type. So whether it's a quarterly or a monthly, you can select and view the report. We then have the BI dashboards, basically collecting, again, demographic information and reporting on it. Gives you an overview of your whole agency, your total customers, how many are active, how many came in this month, how many left this month, a pie chart based on the age of customers that you're supporting, gender, tier, all of this information. And then also a story of your agency, right? How many clients were you had in a certain month, and how have they grown or fallen over time. And then we also get in all of the active customers that you are present with right here. So this is just one of the reports that we have, which is our BI dashboard, which takes into account demographic information. We then have the financial side of the business as well, which I will talk about in a few minutes, but it's basically taking into account the billing. We then have a report for on a particular customer. So for example, if you want to get a story about a customer, you can select a particular client. We give you all the demographic right here. You then have the different tasks or services that you provided for them in the previous months. They are displayed right here in this form. And then you have the notes, the amount of notes that you added in. So many reports, right? A lot of reports about the activities that have been performed with the client. How many documents were uploaded, how many claims were submitted. That is some information as well that helps, is to get to know how many claims were submitted for a particular client. So this is one report which gives you all of this information. Now, this report again is exportable as a PDF. So in case you need any of this information as a PDF, you can always export it out right here through the screen. So that's with the customer. We then have the same with the employee. So you can select a particular employee. I'm just going to go ahead and select Scott. And then we're going to give you likewise same information about how many notes were added, how many tasks did they complete, whether they added in any notes. You can also see if they have any. Give me 1 second. Let me do this. I'm going to select my name right here. Yeah. So where you can see any tasks that they created, any notes that were added in, and how many times did they log in. That is one information. That's some information that has also helped a lot of agencies, is to know, how often are your employees using FieldWorker. We don't track their information on where they're logging in from. We only see that they have logged into the system. So you know how many tasks were created, how many notes, how many documents were uploaded, and then how many logins were completed over the last few months. So just based on the information, you can then have a conversation about how long, how much time is a particular employee spending in doing something on FieldWorker. So this is information that you have access to right here, and again, exportable as a PDF if required. So that's with the reporting. Again, extensive reporting that can help, and we also have new requests that we take. So in case there is any requirement that you have in terms of reporting that you are collecting on the system but would need to report on, you can always get in touch with us, and we'd be more than happy to help to create a report for you. Right. So that's with the field worker system in terms of creating a client or having a client record and then reporting. Next, we also have a few day program agencies or group homes that are operating through our system, right? So the way they operate is using different sessions. The way a session would work is typically you would schedule a session right here, and you can specify a session name. I'm just going to create a session for today's example called webinar. You can then select on where is it happening. So again, this is something that we can set up initially when we understand your business. We set up the different locations that you have in your group home or your day program. We set them up as resources. I'm just going to select meeting room. You can then select the different tasks that you're going to complete at this point, right? Whether it's going to be residential services, counseling session, or any type of task that you're completing. This is something that you can set up. You can associate multiple employees. So I'm just going to associate 2 more employees to the session. You can select the date, the capacity. Now, this is something that helps a lot of agencies is to mark a capacity of a certain session. And then we have a color scheme where, a green color means there are a lot of spaces left. A yellow means you have 2 more spaces left in the class. And then a red means the class is full. So the capacity helps control your assignment of clients to a certain session. And you can then set the start time, end time as well right here. So I'm going to say it's a 1 hour session, and I can say schedule session. So now, once you create and schedule session, you will see that the session shows up right here. When I go into the agenda screen, it's going to be present right here. And you will have the different employees present as well. So right here, webinar meeting room is the session that we just created. You can then associate customers. So, if it is a session that all your customers are going to be present at, you can just select all, or you can even select a customer at a time. And once you edit session, you will see that the customer is now assigned to that session. Right here, you will see a list of assigned customers. Now, when the day comes in, your employees, they can view this view, they can export this, you can print this screen to get a different way of what is the schedule for a certain employee look like. You can view it based off employee, you can view it based off a particular customer. So, where is a certain customer supposed to be? A lot of configuration in terms of how you can view the data through the system. Now I'm going to go into the resource. Right here, you will see when I come into the month, you will also see that the 2 sessions show up here. Now, as I mentioned, the session in red means I've already exceeded capacity and everyone who's supposed to be there is there. And then you have the webinar. Right. Now, once the session has been scheduled and your clients have been assigned, the next step and the final step would be to mark attendance. And that is how you get to know of the time that was spent for a particular client. So for example, right here for Aiden Monates, I can click the attendance tab and I can say that Aiden attended the session by marking attendance. Or even if they leave early, we've seen some cases where they're not attending the full session, they're just gonna, they come in late or they leave early. You as an admin can even specify those changes right here and then mark attendance. So we collect the most accurate information of what is happening at your agency, right? You can specify all of the information through this screen, through the scheduler. The advantage of using the scheduler is you can have multiple clients or multiple members working on with single employees, and the notes are going to be for everybody. So you can then add notes for clients. For example, you will see as soon as I marked attendance for Aiden, the notes he turns in the color blue, his name. You can then click and you can add in a note for Aiden right here. If you have any forms that you would like to be filled in, you can also associate them to these sessions and have them created through this right here. So different ways in which you can either have a note added to the client record, or you can have different forms that are also created through sessions.
Yeah, think of to add to what Sania said, think of day habilitation services, daycare services. Think of centers for independent living who are holding outreach session or information sessions, and you can have these sessions where you can record who attended, specific notes about individuals who attended, those who were supposed to attend but did not attend, so you can do your outreach. So you can essentially plan your entire community care, daycare center, all the public group organizations that you do through the scheduler. And that's how our clients are using it very effectively.
Yes, it also gives you a good view of who's present in your day program for a certain day, and who is in a part of a session or not. You get as you start using the system in real time, you will see we give you a list of customers who are actually present currently in your group home, who have been marked attended in a certain session, all of that information. And with this information again comes a lot of reporting. So the same reports that you saw, you have the capability through our sessions where you can see a daily attendance report, you can see a daily attendance summary, all of that information that can be collected for a client through sessions. Great. So now through the system, we've collected information, we've collected the time that has been spent through our home screen. This is something that can be done through a single screen, for a case management agency. In order to collect all of this information that you just saw, it's a three-click process, once set up on the system. We like it when and we've seen this across different agencies, is that it's easier when the system has been set up and your employees are trained on it, other than just not having a process in place and giving the system to be used. So we define a process with the admin initially and then train the employees on going through the field worker system as well. Right now, to add a recent note as a case management agency, it's just 3 clicks. You can click the recent note on the home screen. Once you select the customer, the project, you can then go in and add the note right here. So everything happens on this one screen. You can operate everything through the one home screen as well. Right now, coming in for the revenue management, we also have a billing tab. We currently bill to Gainwell, as well as for any Medicaid claims that we have, and that is through our claims dashboard right here. This information again is we have the CMS 1500 form, the format right here. This is something that a lot of agencies relate to, is the CMS 1500 form that you fill in on Gainwell. Currently, this information can be created electronically on our system and submitted for billing. We're approved with Gainwell to submit your claims. So you can create this information right here. We have different ways in which we can get this information, right? We have an Excel sheet which you can create and upload right here and bill for. We also have a prior authorization tab, which basically collects or contains information about the different units that have been approved for a client. So in case that is something you would like to see as well, we have extended demos in how we show you on how the units work or are calculated in the system. And you can then bill for these different services that you're also providing directly through the system. So that's how you can bill through the claims. And then we have reporting on our billing as well. So any claim that is ever submitted through our system, you will always have a history of it. You never lose information. So through our claims dashboard, one of the advantage to agencies is you have all of the different months right here. So you can actually go back in time to see what was the claim status in a particular month, whether I was paid for everything that I submitted, whether where something was left out. All of that information is going to be present here. If I scroll to the right, you will see we have a claim status column. So if it's denied, if it's accepted, if it's submitted, all of that information is going to be present in the claim status. If the claim has been denied by Gainwell, you will also see the error code and error description. So currently, what you're looking for in your remittance report or the file that you get from DDD is going to be present right here. In case of a denial, it's very easy to resubmit a claim. If you have a denial, you can just double click, based on the error information that needs to change, you can just double click any of our columns, change the information and resubmit. So let's say, just as an example, my task end date is incorrect. I can go in, double click here, make the change and resubmit the claim to Gamewell. So it's very simple to handle the life cycle of a claim, from creating a claim, submitting it, and then resubmitting if there is a denial.
Yeah. And to add to that, what Sunny has shown you right now is our integration with the New Jersey Medicaid system, but we are also integrated with ClaimMD, and effectively doesn't matter who you are billing to, whether it's an insurance agency, whether it's billing to some other state. We have a process where your entire revenue cycle can effectively be managed here. So I know a lot of case management agencies which are out, which are here in the audience, don't bill to anybody, which is perfectly fine. And for that, we have various types of impact reporting, etc., which some of which Sunny showed you, which you can generate to send to your funders, to your grant givers, or whenever you're applying for a grant, or whether you're going to state or federal for grants as well. So we have many reporting there. But in case you are billing and you're submitting claims to a state agency, let's say Medicaid, Medicare, or insurance agency, then we have full revenue cycle management for that within the platform as well, part of which Sunny just showed you.
Yes, and then we have a lot of reporting on these the revenue as well, right? So Again, billing reports, just like our other reports, can be based off a certain period or a client. And then you have a long list of reports, billing transaction, what is balance left for a particular month or for a particular period. You can have all of these different reports here. Right here, just one of the examples. Yeah, right here. So you see what the outstanding balance was, who the client is, what's the amount you're supposed to receive, the dollar amount, all of that information in one of our reports. So these are just some of the reports that are generated through the system, generalized reports that we've seen, agencies use. But again, as I mentioned, we do have customized reporting present on the system as well. Great. So that's an overview, a really, a generalized overview of the capabilities of the FieldWorker system. There's a lot more that we do. We have EVV, which is electronic visit verification. A lot of agencies like to use that, case management agencies, even though it's not mandated by the state. It's a way of making sure that the service that your employees are saying is being, performed is actually being performed. It's a way where using our mobile app, they would only be able to check in, check out to a visit if they are at the location that is mentioned. So we have a mobile apps for that. We have an Android and an iOS mobile app. For support coordination, that is one of the types of agencies that we also support. The monthly monitoring tool document, that is, or the quarterly tool document, that is something we have present on the system, and employees can use our system to create the monthly monitoring or the quarterly monitoring tool for support coordination agencies. And then we have daycare as well as day program agencies and case management agencies using the system.
Yeah. While you were talking, Sunny, I put up another poll, which would be very helpful for us if you can fill that up. And again, feel free to ask any questions that you may have in the Q&A window or in the chat window, and we are happy to take those questions and answers. As Sunny mentioned, there are other areas to the product that we have not been able to cover. Specifically for New Jersey support coordination agencies. I know there are some people in the audience who are there. We are happy to set up a small session with you and go over monitoring tools, quarterly monitoring tools, and how they can be very quickly completed with our synchronization with the iRecord data so that your client data is always current. We also have a mobile app which covers electronic visit verification for any agencies who are required to do electronic visit verification, or any service provider agencies who, for their own benefit, want to track the period of time on which the services were delivered. Um, from the mobile app, timesheets can be entered, case notes can be entered, and even any forms that you set up can be entered, data can be collected via the mobile app as well. So the mobile app is a very powerful feature which hundreds of our users are using today as well for their agencies. Again, if you are interested in seeing that, please let us know, and we are happy to set up a session to show you that as well. Any questions? Please submit them. One of the questions that has come up is that how do we work with if we use FieldWorker? How do we work with existing data that we currently have, which is in spreadsheets? So, Sunny, you want to take that? We go through a process of
Sure.
onboarding you. Sunny, go ahead and take that question.
Yes. So, it's you will have historical data, hierarchical data when you come into the system. We have different ways in which this data can be handled. If the data is something that you would like to report on or you would like to store, we can get the client information data in using our bulk import features. So, we have a bulk upload feature where a lot of information, if that is present for your clients, can be uploaded onto the system or onboarded onto the system. And then for spreadsheets, we also have the client page, right, where you can store as many documents as you like for every client. So any spreadsheets, any historical data that you have, you can upload it to the client record and store and access it whenever you need directly through the system right here.
Right. So your core client data will be imported into the system. Let's say you have additional documents that you had collected for that client. that can also be imported and stay in the Documents tab. Any case notes that you have historically can come into your case notes tab. So all that information will be stored into the system as well.
Yes, yes. This is just one example of an Excel sheet stored onto our system. This is how you can view it. So you don't really need to download it. Once it's uploaded, you can just view it directly through the FieldWorker system itself right here. Yes.
Support, I'll just take that question. Our support team is always, we provide support during all your business hours, and for and any we work through emails, through contact information, and the support team is always available. So if you have any questions, we of course hold these webinars, but also one-on-one, we are available to help you. We have also a website where you can put in any requests for new features or new things that you would like to see, and we will get back to you with a timeline as to when that is going to get done, and we will complete that. If you need something urgently, we are always here to help you. The entire product has evolved through feedback from our clients, and that is how it is in the shape that it is today, and continues to evolve as we hear more and more from you with your needs. If you need to, somebody asked about specific reports. If you need to generate specific reports for your funders, for your grant givers, as you're asking, let us know. And once we have, if you think about it, all the data is in the system. FieldWorker is very flexible, and those reports can be easily generated, and we are happy to work with you to generate reports that you need from FieldWorker. Any other questions? I think we've handled the questions that have come so far. Let me drop in my our email address here as well. I'll put in sunny@fieldworker.ai and @fieldworker.ai. So if you have any questions, anything specific to your agency that you would like to talk to us about, please drop us an email. We are happy to set up some time to talk to you directly. If we haven't addressed an area in enough detail, there are many things. Some of the stuff is workflow automation, so we didn't have time to go into that. But for example, you can set up schedule workflows where when a certain task is done, a certain type of information needs to be collected. We can set those up for you so that you have consistency across your organization and how you handle information flow. The way we operate is, if you are a new agency, somebody's asking, if you are a new agency, then you can start using FieldWorker for sure. And if you have collected your information in spreadsheets right now, that's perfectly fine. As Sunny mentioned, we can import that data in. And even if you are one or two users, that's perfectly fine. We have many such agencies who are one or two users, 5 to 10 clients who are using our system. And we have agencies who are using who have thousands of clients on the system. So we are suitable for small as well as big agencies, and that is not a problem at all either. Yeah, for claims, we are very flexible. We handle prior authorizations. We handle claims from all over, any type of claims that you might have. We can pretty much, I think, handle that. So talk to us about the state you are in and set up some specific time, and we are happy to work with you to try to figure out how we would work with you for claim submission and reporting as well that you need. Any other questions? Sunny, and anything else you'd like to add here?
No, I think I'm good. Just one point before we go, right, about the new request page. So this is something that you have access to, and we've learned it in the business that it's better to learn from people who are actually going to use our product. So we love feedback. We at Fieldworker, as Rohit mentioned, a lot of what you're seeing has come in from clients who are actually using our system on a daily basis, and we do have the new request page right here. So right here through this page, you can actually see the different updates that are coming in onto our system. That we have a very transparent way in which we have a roadmap of what's in progress, what's completed, how you as as an admin or an owner of an agency or even a user or field worker can come in and put a new request, and then we have other people voting on it, and based on the requirement or the need, we build these out for you. So this is just something that we've seen really works, is getting feedback and then being able to create systems based on that feedback. So we love feedback. Yes.
Great. All right. We have crossed 3:45, our time window for the webinar, and we want to adhere to the schedule. So thank you very much, everybody, for joining. A recording of this webinar will be available on our website as well, and feel free to ask us any questions that you might have as follow-ups as well on this by dropping us an email. Thank you. Thank you for your time. Thank you, Sunny. Thank you, Anne. Thank you, Shravan, for joining the webinar.
Great. Thank you. Thank you, everybody.
Thank
Goodbye.
you.